I love me some Jeanne Moos. I need to teach my dog how to play the piano.
Yeah, you do.
And later in the show, we're going to teach your dog to come when called, and maybe, just maybe, we'll throw in a free piano lesson.
Keyboard.
Who's to know?
It's money saving May. And recycling, it can save the environment and save you money, but you can't recycle everything.
Unfortunately, you can't, but Marin Goldstein from the Center for EcoTechnology, he's here to tell us what we should know. So we have the top 10 items that are misnomers or certain things like that. So why don't we start over here with black plastic?
Yes, so black plastic, we oftentimes get these at sort of to-go food places. They'll give you these containers, you take them home, and then what do you do with them? Black plastic, because of the mix of the color, actually can't be recycled at this point in the United States, and so you have to throw it out. Or, if you want to save money, you can keep it and use it instead of buying Tupperware. You've got all these great containers that come home from your shopping, and now you can use it in your home and reuse it.
Just don't put it in the microwave, that'll probably melt, right?
Yes, you don't want to put it in your microwave.
Now here's my question. I didn't know that, so I've always put my black plastic in my recycling bin with all my other recyclables. Now I won't. But they took it. So do they sort? What do they do with it? Just throw it away?
It gets sorted when it actually gets to the municipal facility, recycling facility. They'll actually go through and sort stuff at that point. But we don't want to have what's called contaminants. So you don't want to have lots of contaminants in there because it's going to make it that much harder. Have to slow down the belt that they're going through and fixing stuff out of.
So if we're more aware of what we can and can't recycle, then it'll make things a lot easier and better for the environment.
Definitely.
Great.
Next up,
clamshells.
Clamshell.
Oh, now I play a game with my kids. We call it Mr. Container.
Yes.
Mr. Container. That's what we do.
Now you can also
that's what you can do.
You can teach them the next step, though. Can you recycle Mr. Container?
What do you guys think?
Heck yeah, it's plastic.
I would say yes.
Yes, you can. You can recycle these. All these things, they're one of those things I think people aren't sure if they can recycle, but you can recycle clamshells.
Also, though, I found two uses for it. I put my salads in clamshell containers like that, but I plant herbs in here because it's ventilated in the bottom so the water can drain out of it.
Yep. Awesome, great reuses.
And you put some googly eyes on it and you have a little friend.
Say, conversely, you can use it as Mr. Container.
Yep.
Yes, those are really good ones.
Kids love it.
Definitely.
What about pizza box?
Pizza box, yes. So the main thing here is that it is a paper product, and so you can recycle it. But if you have really greasy pizza, cheese gets on it, the grease gets on it, that grease actually makes it not be able to be recycled. So oftentimes you can take the lid off it and recycle the lid, but if you have grease on the bottoms, that just needs to be thrown out or composted. You can put it in your compost. So this is a great brown to add in with all the other greens that you have for composting.
Not a bad idea. Next up here we have,
cartons.
Your cartons. Are these cardboard technically?
No, they're just containers.
Anybody knows what they are.
Yeah, they're containers. I think one of the main things I wanted to talk about with this is that oftentimes you end up with these little caps, and these little caps can actually be recycled if you leave them on the container. If you take them off the container and try to recycle it just like this is really small and could actually jam up the recycling facilities, actually conveyor belt and stuff like that. So you want to screw it back on, put it back on, and put it in your recycling just like that.
Okay.
Here's a similar question though. So I had a tomato sauce can, and it's a glass jar with a metal lid.
Yep.
Can I keep those on together, or should I recycle them separately?
Generally, you can just put the lids back on.
Put the lids back on as a general rule.
Yep.
Marin, thanks, but we're not done yet. We have this whole side of the table to get to.
What should you recycle and what should you not recycle? You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Yeah. And coming up, he's been... Welcome back to Massive Bill. We're back with Marin Goldstein from the Center for EcoTechnology. We're talking recyclables, and if you missed the first 5 a few minutes ago, they're over here, and they will be on our website, mymassappeal.com, later today if you can recycle them or if you can't. But now, we're talking about these letters that everybody gets in the mail all too often, and the tricky part is they're both plastic and paper.
Yes.
What can you do with them?
Well, I was raised that you're supposed to actually pull out the plastic and all that kind of stuff, or just put the paper in the paper. The actual technology that it's gotten to now is you can just put this straight in the paper recycling, and the mixers that actually recycle the paper will extract the plastic that's in there, the little bit of plastic, and so you don't even have to do anything. You can just put it into paper just like that.
So don't fret. What about magazines? All magazines are good to go?
Magazines, newspapers, all those things are really good paper contents as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
You can also use some newspaper in compost, too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's other ways to do it if you're composting.
Perfect.
Good things, too.
A lot of people will be using these during their picnics, plastic utensils and drinking cups.
Yep, and same with the styrofoam and plastic. Unfortunately, those are not recyclable at all. And so the main thing there, the money-saving thing, is use reusable containers. You reuse the plastic forks and knives, clean them afterwards, and reuse them instead of throwing them out.
Right, of course. That saves you a lot of money.
And styrofoam is a no-go too?
Styrofoam also cannot be recycled at this point. Again, a lot of these things could be, but the volume and the mechanisms are just not in place to be for the profit sort of part of the market to be able to say, we want to have this and recycle this. So some countries they can. In the United States, we don't have recycled for those yet.
You know what I've noticed though? It used to be a lot of the to-go containers were made of styrofoam, and it seems like less and less these days, which is great.
Yes. Definitely, yeah. A lot of businesses are realizing that it's a really bad use to put into our landfills, and so they're not even offering it in the first place, and that's a really good choice.
We've got about a minute and a half. We're going to finish these items that are here.
Yes, these are the 3 top number things. So plastic, Americans throw away over 35 billion bottles of plastic every year.
Are you kidding me?
Whoa.
Not kidding.
That's offensive.
And obviously that fills up our landfills really fast. And so the most important thing there is, if you're going to do it, recycle it, and if you can, choose a reusable water bottle. So if you can do that, you know, choose that recyclable, reusable bottle, and then you don't even have a plastic. You know, they also say that in a regular bottle of water is actually 4 cents of water that you're paying $1, $2 for. So just use your tap water. Is just as good water. So
it's unbelievable, really.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know, you pay a couple of bucks for just a bottle of water these days.
Yep.
But the other, you know, if people, because I know a lot of people out there, they're not going to give up their cases of bottled water, but you can have one, fill it up, and then fill it up a couple more times with tap water, and then you're saving, who knows how many?
Yep.
Significant amount of money.
Significant amount.
Plastic bags.
Plastic bags. So here's another one. These are, again, if you cannot recycle them at home, but they're really easy to take into your grocery stores. Most grocery stores at this point have plastic bag containers right on the exit or the entrance to their stores, and so you can recycle them there. So don't put them in your home recycling. Take them back into your grocery store and reuse them there, or reuse them too, because then you don't have to have new plastic bags. That's always a better choice as well.
Now, lastly, the big one: aluminum cans.
Aluminum cans. So for every 1 can, the energy to make 1 new can, if you recycled 20 cans, there would be the same amount of energy. So these are really big energy users to make new cans. So if you can recycle these, you can also even oftentimes get money back for them if you take them back to places where you can get money back for them.
Right, get
but
your money
really
back.
make sure that our aluminum cans get back into the system so they can be remade. They even say sometimes if you take a recycled can and put it in your recycling, within 60 days it could be back on the shelf being resold again. So it saves a lot of energy, saves money, and it's a really important thing for our environment.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for all of these tips. And if you want the complete list of tips online, all the things that you can and can't recycle, just visit our website, mymassappeal.com.